If it's still dropping frames, I'm gonna try to call it here and we'll try to pick this up later, but right now it seems like it's not doing it. Like we dropped a little bit, but now it's kind of just staying there. Let's see if it'll continue to stay there. May 17th, 10:08 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Just so you know, I'm not going to take sides. Message received loud and clear. Good, because I don't like this one bit. You and Daddy should be on the same team. Sorry, Trucy. Wow, she's really mad. I'm sorry too, little lady. This is all my fault. I'm just worried things will never be the same between Daddy and Apollo. If they go through with this. Is that all? Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's the way it is with us men. We may fight, but we don't burn bridges. Really? Sure. 1 minute we're trading blows, and the next, we're having drinks together. We're simple creatures at heart. I sure hope you're right. Sorry I'm late, Apollo. Athena, there you are. What happened with you and Mr. Wright yesterday? Ooh, about that. I ended up going to the wrong... How? How are you this dumb? What? How did you not know which airport to go to? Athena, please. What? Doesn't look like we're dropping frames. Shut up over there. Yeah, Athena doesn't have Google Maps on widget. She has a phone, though. I was waiting there thinking his flight was really late. Before I knew it, I dozed off. By the time I woke up, it was already dark. I figured something like that had happened. Being late and dozing off are the two things you do best. Guilty as charged. So then I take it you have no idea what today's case is about. Not a clue. Sorry. What is today's case about, if I might ask? Another locked room mystery? A suspect filled with a flimsy alibi? Ooh, or a dying message? No one's on trial for murder yet. Sorry. Strike 3, you're out. It's a civil case. A civil case? I act like I'm speaking Swahili here. It's just the Wright Anything Agency specializes in criminal law, or so I thought. In civil cases, there are no prosecutors, right? Instead, both parties retain an attorney. Yep. Right. The other attorney is someone you know very well. Really? Who? Athena. Please, for the love of God. Trial will begin shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. Okay, let's do this. Apollo, wait. Who's the other attorney? And where is Mr. Wright? No time to explain. Let's go. Okay, right behind you. It's the judge as the other attorney. That would be sick. May 17th, 10:30 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 6, Mambo number 5. Court is now in session. All rise. Court is now in session. Oh, is this some sort of practice session? A mock trial, perhaps? No, it's not, Your Honor. It's the real deal, Your Honor. So then you two have had a falling out. I won't have you using my courtroom for that, you know. It's nothing like that, Your Honor. Exactly. It just so happens that we have different clients in this case. I see. Well, here's to hoping this has no adverse effect on your working relationship. You can say that again. I had no idea we'd be going up against the boss today. You sure this is a good idea, Apollo? I mean, it always is going to be a good idea. Anytime I get to fucking smack Phoenix around as Apollo Justice is a good time. Do you want to switch sides? Honestly, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. At least she is here. I'm really gonna need her help. Mr. Justice. Yes? Don't expect me to pull any punches just because you're the opposing lawyer. As I said, the kid gloves are off. And come what may, they'll stay off. Same here, Mr. Wright. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. Yo. Apollo, that nigga Justice. Yeesh, you guys are really chomping at the bits, aren't you? I don't mind a good fight between co-workers. Just keep the civil case civil. Now then, if the plaintiff would take the stand, we may begin. There's no way. Noble judge, members of the gallery, good day to you. I am politician. This is but the start of my epic campaign, and you all have the honor of witnessing it. I believe the youth of this country are our very future. Too long have they been looked down on and given the cold shoulder. So to them I say, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what you can do for me. Mr. Etition, what is that crazy contraption you're riding in? It's my custom-made election-winning campaign mobile. Beautiful, isn't it? You're at a witness stand, not a campaign podium. So come out of there this instant. What? You don't need the placard. All right, now with the plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Wright, please explain the complaint filed against the defendant. Mr. Etition's complaint against the defendant is simple. The defendant, one Dirk Sadmati, stole my client's family heirloom, a crystal of Ami Fe. Mr. Etition merely seeks its return. This wouldn't have happened if that archaeologist hadn't kicked the bucket. This is so weird and cool at the same time. I mean, I'll take weird over anything in Phoenix Wright, right? Phoenix Wright, right? But weird always has to happen. Weird is the constant. It's just the varying degrees of weird, right? Like, before we got into, oh, it's going to be Phoenix versus Apollo, it was, hey, this guy's name is Politician. More so seeing Phoenix on that side. Yeah. Throwback to 2-4 with Miles on the defense bench. Pretty cool. Well, Mr. Justice, let's have your opening statement, if you would. 3-5? Yeah, 3-5, excuse me. 2 didn't have a 5. The defense asserts that the item in question is the Founder's Orb, a sacred relic from Kurain. Go on. It seems someone asked an archaeologist, Dr. Archie Buff, to study the orb. Dr. Buff determined that it was a Kuranese national treasure known as the Founder's Orb. The very orb that was stolen from a treasure room in Kurain several weeks ago. Why, yes, I saw a news report about that. Thank you, Judge. The theft of a Kuranese national treasure caused quite an uproar in the kingdom. Well, we believe that it was not in fact a theft in the traditional sense, but rather that it was spirited out of Kurain by someone for Dr. Buff to study. You don't say, and around that time an acquaintance of the defendant learned of Dr. Buff. Remember the DLC trial said something about time travel? Yeah, so it's probably before this conclusion. He made contact with the doctor, who agreed to hand over the orb. Apparently, the doctor wanted nothing to do with it once he'd learned it had been stolen. It seems you even have a transfer agreement between both parties. Mr. Sadmati also agreed to return the Founder's Orb to the Kingdom of Kurain, once the doctor verified it was the real thing. I see. So this dispute centers on whether the item in question is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Ami Fe. It's both. That, in turn, will determine the object's rightful owner. Dog, imagine Clavier and fucking Miles are just watching this, like, on a couch together, and they've got like fucking foam figures and pennants cheering for each other or cheering for each of their boys. I better bring my A game. Going up against Mr. Wright won't be a walk in the park. Come to think of it, the name Dirk Sodmati sounds awfully familiar. But I can't recall where I've heard it. Oh, it's probably your imagination, Your Honor. He's just a tourist after all. My imagination, you say? Are you sure about this, Apollo? He's a wanted criminal in Karain, isn't he? Yeah, no, they've got a fucking bingo. They've each got their own respective bingo board, like like total number of fucking objections, total number of Apollo fucking seeing somebody not tell the truth. This means Maya and Pearl are technically royalty. Well, I mean, of course, like if their offshoot of the kingdom of Karain is able to spirit channel successfully, like, and in greater numbers, then obviously that they're royalty. In Karain, yes, here he's just a tourist. Whether or not an animal will be called to the stand, yeah, they've got a whole bingo board going. How many witnesses? Who bluffs first? There's probably a first bluff call. Very well. Let's begin with the proceedings. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Who's it going to be? Emma? Does Emma wear... Yeah, it's Emma. Okay. I was about to say, does Emma wear shoes like that, but I guess so. Emma? Show some manners, we're in court. I know, it's just... This is a civil trial, so I was surprised to see a detective take the stand. I had to do some digging on Dr. Buff. What for? You disappoint me, Apollo. First, you know I'm not just a detective, I'm a forensic scientist. Do try to remember that. Second, you owe Mr. Wright an apology. After all he's done for you, you have some nerve. First, I'm sorry, and second, I'm really just trying to do my job. We live? Yeah, we're back. For some reason, my internet just decided to crap out for a little bit, but we're good. I'll never get anywhere with that attitude. Take some advice from someone who's been there. Why do I feel like I'm on trial here? Detective Sky, your testimony, if you please. It's the same formula. The doctor's dark secret. The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time, and just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the Fae clan, of course, yes. It seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Addison residence. We gotta press everything there. The doctor is a thief. Miles probably has a magic BS counter. I mean, Miles hasn't seen Apollo do his bullshit in court, so Clavier probably had to tell him about it. But Clavier probably gave him the rundown, like, yeah, no, if you see him grab his wrist where his bracelet is, yeah, just expect some bullshit to happen. Well, cat burglar isn't something he'd put on his resume. He was more careful than that. But the fact is, he was a classic treasure hunter. Miles knows Maya and Pearls ain't here, so he's gonna bet on magic. Yeah. There will be no magic in this case, I can feel it. What do you mean, his bracelet? Treasure hunter, huh? Like people have thrilling adventures in exotic places, risking life and limb for glory? I doubt Dr. Buff was the star of his own hit movie series, Athena. Out of respect for the dead, I will say that Dr. Buff wasn't doing it to get rich. Apparently, he only wanted to borrow artifacts to study them. He would then return them as soon as his research was finished. According to the doctor's child, he would even repair or restore some of the artifacts he stole before returning them. He believed he was honoring the dead by discovering their history through artifacts. But whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. Larceny is larceny. Yes, he certainly sounds no different from a regular thief to me. So let's say for a moment that the doctor really did moonlight in stealing artifacts. Might he not have stolen the Founder's Orb in Karain and brought it back here himself? I really hope, and I don't know if they're going to do it, but I kind of want to see an objection come out from Phoenix, Apollo's bracelet react, and you have to perceive like his finger trembling on the point. That would be sick. No, there's no record of him traveling overseas the past few years. Plus, he couldn't very well leave his reclusive child at home all alone. And this really must be the crystal of Ami Faye. Yes, he stole it from the Etitian residence, probably so we could study it. This is the left hook I did not need. But you never saw that coming, Apollo. Yeah, when Mr. Wright said the kid gloves were off, he wasn't kidding. Both the bingo cards have witness confesses to the crime. Yeah. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. I imagine they're just in the gallery right now in like fucking sunglasses and shit. And just waiting for something to pop off so they can be like, I fucking told you! Please have had their eyes on... Yeah, let's just press everything. How exactly did Dr. Buff arouse the suspicion of the police anyway? Chalk it up to good old-fashioned sleuthing. After investigating countless artifact thefts over the past few years, the police finally zeroed in on him, and the doctor became their prime suspect. A number of those artifact thefts occurred in Crane Village too, if I might add. And they started right around the time the doctor moved there. But he was never arrested. I take it there was nothing concrete, like linking him to a crime. No, which is why we were never able to get a search warrant in the first place. It's hard to arrest artifact thieves unless you can catch them red-handed. Yeah. So how would anyone catch him red-handed? That's the question then. The answer is you don't. Still, the police had him under constant surveillance. And just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Hold it! Are you sure these allegedly stolen artifacts are the real deal? They're not fakes, that's for sure. Take a look at the urn, for example. Apparently, it's an extremely intricate work of art. Its design, cracks, and other features would be impossible to replicate perfectly. Actually, I've had a few run-ins with that urn myself, so I was shocked to see it there in the doctor's study. I can say without a doubt that an urn was stolen from the Fae clan. I see. Detective Sky, please continue with your testimony, if you would. That was 2-2. Yeah, he saw it in 2-2. He also saw it in 3... What was it? 3-2? Why is Phoenix prosecuting? It's not prosecution. It's a civil case. So there's two attorneys. There's no defense. There's no prosecution. It's just two attorneys. They're trying to determine the facts of what this orb is and who it actually belongs to. Alright. Hold it! Were there any other stolen artifacts found besides those belonging to the Faes? Yes, for instance... Remember the large relief on the wall? It was chiseled out of some ancient ruins in the Kingdom of Karain several years ago. Okay, so then... we can make the case for either. Also, you have that scroll, which technically belongs to the Fae clan, but it wasn't from Fae Village, or Karain Village, excuse me? Fae Village. That's essentially what it is. Chisel it out. Didn't that damage it? Well, he did restore the parts that were so faded you could barely see them anymore. It seems he intended to return it someday, so one could say his intentions were good. But good intentions or no get-out-of-jail-free card, that's a fact. If I might add, with respect for the deceased, the quality of the restoration was apparently exceptional. It seems the doctor invested a lot of money into hiring extremely talented specialists. And an extremely talented specialist? He sounds like a good man who took a wrong turn somewhere. I guess Sarge takes after him in that way. Any further questions? If not, seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. And these alleged thefts have been going on for some time. At least 5 years, as far as we can tell. All the recent thefts have been local, but before moving to Crane Village, he had been stealing from ruins around the world. Dr. Buff was an international criminal. This data lends itself to but one conclusion. Dr. Buff was a thief. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Attition residence. There's nothing that links him to the scene of the robbery, right? Claim he stole a family heirloom from the Attition residence. But claiming something doesn't make it true. Unfortunately, it is true. How can you be so sure? A police report was filed. Ooh. That, not good. Not great. What? A whole year ago? August 25th of last year, to be exact. The report states, and I quote, "The crystal of Ami-Fae was discovered to be missing from the Attition storehouse at 10 a.m. The storehouse lock had been picked." Signed, Politician Wimperson. Wimperson? Well, your old report certainly lends to the plaintiff's claim credence. The doctor could really have stolen the crystal of Ami-Fae. Not only that, Your Honor, but the Founder's Orb was only found to be missing several weeks ago. That is nearly a year after the crystal's theft was reported. Therefore, I believe we must consider the orb and the crystal to be two separate items. What exactly is the crystal of Ami-Fae? Yes. Politician Wimperson? Not the most awe-inspiring tail end, is it? I see why he cut it. Not that he inspires confidence without it. Still, I'd probably do the same in his shoes. Robbery report added. A police report was filed about the crystal's theft a year ago, but the theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed away way before the orb was found missing. That suggests the stolen relic is the crystal of Ami-Fae, as Mr. Wimperson asserts. I doubt the police report is a fake. After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence. Still, I still feel like something we learned in that police report is important somehow. The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. Okay, so... Wait, we do now have the robbery report. Can we... Wait. Could we... Where is it? What did it say? Subject research report. I thought this would have a date in it. Oh, but to PAW. To Paul Attition Wimperson. So, could we present this where? Where in the testimony? Seminole. Alright. Yep. Center of the dispute, he likely stole it from the Attition residence. Present email data. Objection! The doctor stole the relic from the plaintiff. Are you sure? Because that statement doesn't agree with a certain piece of evidence. What do you mean? Take a look at this. What about it? This contains an email from the doctor's computer. Email? And that little piece of plastic. Judge, please. Judge is the biggest boomer of all, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm afraid I don't understand. Oh, this stick here can store all sorts of computer data. I still don't get it. Frames, please, no. Here, just look at this. Apparently the doctor was reporting his research findings to a certain individual. Now take a look at this. It's the police report that Detective Sky presented to this court. You can see the plaintiff's legal name on it. Politician Wimperson. I can see why he dropped Wimperson from his name, but that's hardly breaking news. Look closer, Your Honor. Yeah. What's up, Phoenix? Right. The plaintiff's full legal name is Politician Wimperson. Now consider this. The email's recipient address starts with these 3 letters. P.A. Oh, fat-ass white. Don't tell me. Oh, but I will anyway. The individual who hired the doctor to study the disputed item is none other than Politician Wimperson. Wait, but then that means... Exactly. He wouldn't have asked the man who stole his family heirloom to study it. Therefore, how could this possibly be the Crystal of Ami Faye? Got him. We never checked the doctor's emails. We couldn't even figure out the password to his computer. The plaintiff willingly left the orb in the doctor's care so he could study it, at the behest of his benefactor. Wait, then what about the police report? I have all the details right here. It's probably for another relic, the real Crystal of Ami Faye. He's just using the report as a way to claim that our orb is actually his stolen crystal. Objection! Don't do it, Phoenix. How are you so certain that PAW refers to my client's initials? Maybe the email's recipient was a dog lover. I told you he'd be the first to bluff. Perhaps. So let's get to know your client a little better, shall we? Mr. Politician Wimperson. Dog, there is no need for the placard. I suppose shutting down detractors is all part of a politician's job. Answer me this, Mr. Petition Wimperson. What is your shoe size, your favorite food, your birthday? Well, fuck, what's your birthday, homie? What is your birthday? My birthday? It's July 11th. But what's it to you? 7-Eleven. Oh, I see. You can address birthday gifts to my office. But full disclosure, I only accept gifts valued at $1,000 or more. Yeah. Sorry, Phoenix. We got him. Why has everyone gone silent? How can anyone be that self-centered? All right, politician. Did everyone hear that? I like how the music cuts back out and cuts back in. He said July 11th. July 11th, or rather 7-11, matches the 3 numbers in the email address. Both the name and the birthday are a match. I hardly think that's a coincidence. Maybe he really likes convenience stores. Wait, why you sneaky little? Looks like someone finally decided to join the conversation. Would the plaintiff care to explain? I would like to say that is quite what? Quite a thing you've said. Any other thoughts? No further comments. I stand by my previous statement. What a politician. Hold it! Where the fuck you think you're going? You can't just walk away. Even politicians have to explain themselves in a court of law. I'm afraid I simply don't know how it happened. I can't possibly explain matters outside of my purview. Perhaps it was a mistake on the part of my secretary? Oh, no you don't, you slippery eel. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? I won't argue your assertion. My client lent the treasure in question to the doctor and asked him to study it. It seems that much is a fact. Now we're getting somewhere, but we don't know when that email was sent. However, it has no bearing on the issue of ownership. How so? Mr. Attition, I fully understand your position here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom, after all. You gotta be kidding me. Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Attition family heirloom, and has been for centuries. Dr. Buff was so eager to study its proud heritage, I just couldn't say no. I didn't even tell my grandfather.
Objection!
But in order to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claim to be the crystal of Amife to that person. You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that. I was going to explain everything to grandfather later, honest. My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps. And if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man could have said no. Last time I checked, this man's last name isn't Fey. That's correct. Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. That's what grandfathers are for. Your Honor, please, it's been in the family for centuries. My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard, too. Feels so weird seeing Phoenix facing left. Correct. You... How dumb are you? That's not even... He didn't even get you a full placard. You just have tape over it. So I'm sure he would have been okay with using the crystal as I saw fit. Grandpa's spoiled little brat. I think the judge is buying it, Apollo. No surprises there. He's always going on about his own grandchild, after all. Excuse me, can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done. By all means, Detective Sky. Thank you for your assistance. You're welcome. It's nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around. Bye, Emma. Oh, Frames, please. Why? Why must you be like this? It seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Attition 1% apparently led his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed? Alright, now what? Apollo, let's hear what they know about this so-called crystal of Amife. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements. Right. Okay then, Mr. Wright. If the item in question really is an Attition family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it. Of course. Mr. Attition 1%, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal's origin. All right. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the crystal of Amife, and the illustrious history of the Attition clan. Are you ready? Our story begins back in the Old Country, when the Attition family reigned supreme. The illustrious history of the Attition clan. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. What? Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Amife gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him. As I'm a descendant of that great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history. Okay. So... do we have anything that... Because he said his ancestor was praised as a ruler. He protected spirit mediums. They were discriminated while people tried to use their power. And Amife gave him the... Do we have anything that disproves that Amife gave him the crystal in the research notes? I mean... Mitsuma motif from Karain founding period. Yeah, so it couldn't have been from Ami, right? Well, that was devolved into a great load of aggrandizing propaganda fast. Politicians' granddad a petition? No. As you can see, the Crystal of Ami Fae is an heirloom of the esteemed House of Atishan, and you have proof that it has always been in the Atishan family. I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one who lives in Shinetto, age 85, gave the following statement. The Atishan showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad.
Objection!
Can we really trust the memory of an old man? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain that statement to the judge? Oh, I didn't mean... What I'm trying to say is, never underestimate the memory of your elders. I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are as clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shinetto? Ives Shinetto? I don't get it. Statement to be perfectly credible. Maybe it's because I'm reading it wrong. Wow, did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve. You're not helping, Athena. You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice. Thank you, buddy. I will say, though, if the research notes end up being right, that was a decently difficult thing. She's specially made as a gift to him, right? It has to be this.
Objection!
My badges went away. That was actually a pretty decent logic line. I will say the jump that you have to make for that is actually pretty decent. You stated that Amive had the crystal made for your ancestor. So am I to assume that it was made in Japan? That's right. The craftsmanship is unbeatable. Well, that's strange. I don't see how your so-called crystal could have been made there. What are you talking about? It's quite obvious if you take a closer look at this. The fucking little sigil there? That has to be it, right? Because it's said in the research notes that, yeah. It's a motif from Karain. Take a good look at the distinctive design here. According to Dr. Buff, it's a Mitama motif, dating back to the early days of the Kingdom of Karain. The Kingdom of Karain, And you base this on... Here. This piece of evidence, Your Honor. These are the doctor's research notes on the Founder's Orb. This is the box which the orb was originally stored. It features the same pattern as the one found on the orb. They do look like the same pattern. Therefore, I assert that the disputed item must have been made in the Kingdom of Karain. You broke your You moron.
Objection!
Phoenix? The Karain channeling technique originated in the Kingdom of Karain. And Amife is known to have traveled there to train. With that in mind, what's to say she didn't bring that pattern back with her?
Objection!
But since this is clearly a Kuranese design, not even you can deny the possibility that it was made there, in the Kingdom of Karain.
Objection!
Anything's possible to some extent. It doesn't make it true. So you can't conclude that the orb is from Karain solely based on the pattern. If it were that simple, I could just easily say it's Japanese. Yeah, Apollo called old people senile, and the Phoenix was like, "Hey, you want to say that again to the judge?" I have to agree with Mr. Wright. The pattern alone proves none. But that also means there's no basis to claim that the item in dispute was made in Japan either. At this rate, we're going nowhere fast. He's right. We're just spinning our wheels here. I wonder if we have any evidence that could break this stalemate. Evidence that could break the state. We don't have anything. Quite literally, we have nothing. We don't have shit for nothing. We don't have nothing. Nothing that can break the stalemate. Doesn't exist. There doesn't seem to be anything we can use, at least not at this point. Well, unless we can find something, this trial won't be going anywhere. Whew, that's much better. What's his deal? I have a suggestion. Why don't we consider this from a different angle? I'm listening. What if the Defiant Dragons really were authorized to take possession of the relic? I'm afraid I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Wright. Consider the orb transfer agreement, which states, I agree to hand over the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I will come to no harm. What if, as the last part suggests, this was written under duress? That would render the agreement null and void. What are you suggesting, Mr. Wright? While you were on your little cave expedition, I was investigating Dr. Buff's accident. And there was something you overlooked, Mr. Justice. Namely, that his accident might have actually been murder. What? Murder? Well, here we go. We're back at it. Mr. Wright, you do realize that such statements are not to be made lightly. Are you suggesting the doctor was murdered by the Defiant Dragons? Yeah, but follow me on this for a second. The books that came tumbling down were from the archaeology shelf. However, among that mountain of books was a single volume on psychology. What's more, there was some blood on it. And you feel this is important because the books that came tumbling down were from the top shelf, the archaeology books. We know this because the doctor's books were meticulously organized by subject. Archaeology took up the entire shelf, so that psychology book is completely out of place. Come to think of it, the shelves were arranged quite carefully. It's also worth noting that psychology books only take up a tiny part of the bottom shelf. You might wonder why a book on psychology was found amid the pile of archaeology books. But I believe I can explain what the single out-of-place book was doing there. It was a murder weapon. The doctor was struck from behind while selecting a psychology book from the shelf. And that's what the blood got on the book. Precisely. And to make it look like an accident. He was buried under a mountain of archaeology books.
Objection!
Wait a second. This is all just speculation, right? Or do you have proof that it was a murder? Of course I do. You do. On a hunch, I had Detective Skye examine the doctor's head wound. She found that he'd been struck by the corner of some object or another. Wait, what? A wound like that couldn't have resulted from a fall to the floor, you know. Do you understand what this means, Mr. Justice? The wound makes it crystal clear that Dr. Buff was murdered. What? Well, that was unexpected. Who'd have thought we'd break out of the stalemate like this? He pulled the ladder right out from under us. Still, if he thinks that's enough to make me back down, he's got another thing coming. How hard do you have to hit somebody with that small-ass book? I mean, pretty decently hard. Even if the cause of death was murder, what makes you think it was the Defiant Dragons? You should know better than to hurl baseless accusations.
Objection!
Did you forget you were up against Mr. Justice? Huh? You didn't actually think I'd come to court without a witness and evidence, did you? What are you talking about? I would like to request further testimony from the plaintiff. Specifically, I would like the court to hear how he saw one of the rebels leaving the crime scene. He saw what? Who would have thought that a game about solving murder trials would have not had a murder trial? Right? Murder trial in my murder mystery game? It's more likely than you think. If he can prove it was murder, that's the end of our client's right to the orb. Did he have this up his sleeve the whole time? How could Mr. Wright do this to us? He was just waiting to spring this trap. Don't seem pleased with yourself, nigga. This trial has taken yet another unexpected turn. But I must mention, Mr. Wright, that you have yet to identify the murder weapon. The object used to commit the murder was not located at the scene of the crime. The murderer likely disposed of it elsewhere. Did you just say the N-word? Yeah? As a black man, I can say the N-word? Well, I never thought we'd be deliberating on the issue of murder at a civil trial. All right, Mr. Attition Wimperson, your testimony, if you please. Don't put your placard, son of a bitch. Prepare to be dazzled. Dazzled by the charismatic oration forged in the crucible of campaign battles. Wait, what? Is this some kind of master versus student trial? Kind of. Not like officially, like they didn't set it up that way, but it ended up being that way. The rebel's crime. That evening, I walked alone, was lost in thought. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. A Rebel. He was running out the front door. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of the crime. Okay. Vote for me. Okay, shut up. So, we gotta start pressing. These names are killing me? What do you mean? You don't fuck with Mr. Paul Attition? And it was in the window of the estimated time of death? That's a rebel. What in the world were you doing there, then? Study photo updated in the court record. It seems Mr. Rebel was loitering about Crane Village that day. There's evidence he was in the doctor's study as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Justice? Yeah, suitcase was there. You mean the suitcase? Exactly. You must have been in quite the rush to leave that behind. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Mr. Rebel just so happens to be sitting in the gallery today. See? That's him trying to escape as we speak. Bailiff, don't let that man get away. Right, you backstabber. Why are you doing this to me? Alright. The counsel/defense may question the plaintiff/witness once more. Please proceed, Mr. Justice. Cross-examination. The rebel's crime. So, I want to hear about how'd you know it was Mr. fucking Dats? Where exactly were you when you saw Mr. Rebel? Right here, under this tree. I saw him dashing out of Dr. Buff's front door. I mean, what? Okay. And he didn't notice you. No, I was hidden by the tree. Is it really all that important to know from where the plaintiff was? Yes, it is. Because that means he came out of the top floor. Yes, I believe that matters a lot. I ask that it please be added to the witness's testimony. So, you saw him running out the front door.
Hold it!
Isn't that technically the back door? Did you notice anything unusual? Yes, his behavior was incredibly suspicious. His eyes were darting all around as he ran off in total panic. As soon as I saw that, I knew he had done something, and it probably wasn't good. Despite that, you still didn't report it to the police. Who would have thought he'd killed Dr. Buff? Not me. That's why I didn't report it. Wouldn't you have seen him through the fucking window? What? You should... Yeah, no. Please add that to your fucking testimony as well. So the witness didn't notify the police. Is that an important statement, Mr. Justice? Yes, it is. Still funny to think the bailiff, since the apologist's game has been Meekins. I think it was only Meekins for the, because they definitely fucking fired that man. Meekins was there for the trial of Zach Gramery, and then they just were like, yep, no, we need different bailiffs, fuck it. Yes, it is important. I requested the witness added to his testimony. Sure, why not? You're gonna stop fang at me. I had no idea that Dr. Buff was dead. That's why I didn't call the police. Are you sure about that? Because it's definitely... Would it be the... No, because you can't really prove anything with this. Would it be the photo of the body? Yeah, body photo.
Objection!
Mr. Attition Wimperson, rather than Mr. Rebel, wasn't there something else that should have had your undivided attention? Like what? Oh, yes, of course. A politician must also keep his finger on the electorate's pulse and focus on the nation's... Sorry, but you're way off. I am? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? If the witness saw Mr. Rebel from his position here, then he should have also been able to see the body. After all, it was right next to a huge window. Why, I believe you have a point there. With the body that clearly visible to the witness, it's unthinkable that he wouldn't have reported it to the police. Ah. Thank you for the Phoenix. Alright. Would the witness care to respond? What? Are you sleeping, bitch? Did he fall asleep? Mr. Attition Wimperson. Mr. Attition Wimperson? Huh? Well, you couldn't see the... You couldn't see the entirety from the tree, but that window had a view of ground level. If you remember from where we were looking out the window when we were investigating, the picture of the body specifically, you can't really see all of the tree, but it's on ground floor. Huh? Oh, there are many sides to any issue. What did I ever do to deserve this? In any case, I'd like the court to acknowledge the inconsistency in the witness's testimony. Mr. Attition Wimperson, did you really see Mr. Rebel? Yes. What? Where are you going? Come back. Where do you think you're going? Oh, I thought I'd return to my seat, seeing as I had already answered the question. This is some small-town hall debate, so you just stay right there until I say we're through. I'll have to run that by my campaign manager before I... Glare. Mr. Attition Wimperson, I think it's time for you to come clean. Huh? So then, does this mean he didn't see Mr. Rebel? As your lawyer, Mr. Attition Wimperson, I advise you divulge that matter we discussed. Silence is no longer an option. Are you sure about this? I'm in the midst of running for office. I can't afford to let any strange rumors get out. Don't worry. You won't suffer any blowback from what you're about to reveal. Blowback? I'm not sure I like the sound of that, Mr. Wright. Not to worry, Your Honor. Nothing untoward will come of this, I promise. Now then, Mr. Justice. Remember how it was an anonymous caller that reported the doctor's death? What, did he... No. Also, that was where the fuck... Okay, so... I gotta show y'all this. I know yesterday I was like, damn, that's a pretty far away distance for the fucking cursor to click onto that. Look at that. Look at how far away the cursor is, and it said, nope, yep, you click the button. You click the save button, open up the save menu. That shit is a decent distance away from that fucking save button. Remember how it was an anonymous caller that reported the doctor's death? Come to think of it. Yep. Wait, you're not saying that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The anonymous source who contacted the police after discovering the body was... my client, Mr. Politician Wimperson. What? You don't say. So you see, he played his part as a concerned citizen, quite admirably, if I may say so. Isn't that right? Yes, indeed. In our society today, there are too many who choose indifference over righteous action, but I don't number among them. That's why I did my duty as a concerned citizen. One might call me the model citizen, one worthy of standing above the rest. What a real standard bearer he is, reporting it anonymously. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Justice, wasn't there's somebody else at the scene of the crime who my client discovered the body. Well, when my client discovered the body? What? Oh, you mean Mr. Rebel? He would have been leaving the doctor's house right around then. Wait, that means... Yes, it does. In short, what my client witnessed was Mr. Rebel fleeing the scene of a heinous murder. And that's not all. Based on what we heard so far, Mr. Rebel looked exceedingly suspicious, and that's putting it mildly. We already know the Defiant Dragons threatened the Doctor with bodily harm. And now that they've killed him, the so-called orb transfer agreement is null and void. I mean, why would they kill him if they had an agreement? Phoenix, come on, buddy. Apollo, if we don't come up with some sort of counter-argument... And what sort of evidence do you have? Can you actually prove that it was Mr. Rebel who killed the Doctor? That move had desperate written all over it. It's all I've got, so I'm going with it. Evidence? I suppose it's true that I don't have any. I knew it. Don't say yet. But I do have another witness. You do. You should know I always come fully prepared, Mr. Justice. And my new witness will provide testimony proving Mr. Rebel's guilt. Dog, what if we just gave the fucking Founder's Orb to Dirk and he just fled the country? Are you gonna stop him? Who's gonna stop him? Surely not the police. A new witness? I wonder who it could be. Potentially Pearl? Very well. Bailiff, please summon our new witness. In the meantime, the court will take a brief recess. Oh boy. I would like both sides to use this time to prepare properly, understood? So either Pearl, it could be the son or the kid, Sergeant Buff, defendant lobby number 3. Wow, I knew Mr. Wright would put up a tough fight, but yeah, just when I thought we had him, he turned the tables on us. He really is the turnabout terror. We can't let him blindside us again. Looks like they've got me again. 3 times in 1 year. That's a new record. Dads, please, no more new records, or bad puns while you're at it. It's hard enough trying to help you as it is. Roger that, I'll be more careful next time. Dats, is what Mr. Wright said true? Did you really pay a visit to Dr. Buff that night? Sure did. Can't remember the exact time, though. All I know is he wouldn't hand over the orb. Someone put it in his head that we rebels were dangerous. That's why he threw me out. So the Doctor was still alive when Dots last saw him. We'll still have to prove it, though. Also, if he wasn't willing to hand over the orb to the rebels anymore, then, not a good look. Better brace yourself, son. The next witness's testimony could make or break this case. Yeah, I know. Hey, where's Trucy? She went to go see her dad. Maybe she's still mad. More like worried. Worried that this trial will create a rift between you and Mr. Wright, and that you might leave the agency. She has an active imagination. Excuse me, the trial will be resuming shortly. Well, let's go see what new testimony awaits us. Please be Pearl. Please don't be the drone. May 17th, District Court, courtroom number 6. Well, stands empty right now. Alright, court is back in session. Mr. Wright, you said you had a witness. Your Honor, I would like to call the lone survivor of the Doctor's murder to the stand. Drone. Wait, he can meet. But Sarge is here. You mean Dr. Buff's reclusive son? How did you get him to cooperate? Nothing little persuasion couldn't handle. The poor child only agreed to help if it meant catching the killer. Getting a kid like that to overcome his fear. Now that's impressive. This must be a really important testimony for the kid to come out in public like this. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please call your witness to the stand. So we actually get to see his model now. Or I can just go fuck myself. That's cool too. Why did I ever assume any different from this game? Damn it. Oh my. Sergeant Buff at your service, sir. Yeah, no, of course I thought, because Phoenix didn't have any, like, weird, like, shifty, like, yeah, no, we got him to testify. It's like, oh, you got him to come out of his room? We got him to testify. Like, no, of course, I just expected, one time. Just one time. Coming from a case with somebody that has DID, I expected like, okay, they kind of went out of their way for the big weird shit. So maybe Phoenix really did get the kid. Maybe that makes sense. Easier as the drone, really. Mr. Wright? What exactly is the meaning of this? Past trauma has rendered it impossible for the witness to venture into public. Leaving home was hard enough, and it seems leaving the witness lobby was just too much. But I would still like to continue with testimony delivered via this drone. I understand it must be terrible to lose one's father like that, but testimony via a remote-controlled toy? Miles is so close to a bingo. Well, let's take things for a spin and see how it goes. This was piloting this trial anyway. The judge sure warmed up to the idea fast. I think the phrase you're looking for is gave up. You disappoint me, Corporal Justice. I think I once called you a comrade. Duck. Ah! Defending the man who killed Papa? That's full-on treason, soldier. I hereby demote you back to private. Corporal? Private? What's he talking about, Apollo? It's a long story. Now then, are you ready to testify, youngster? Locked and loaded, sir. Ready to rain lead down upon the perpetrator. We're just gonna let the drone have a gun? I mean, is it the worst thing we've seen in court? Answer that question for me real quick. Is it the worst thing that's happened in this courtroom? Because signs point to hard no. And it doesn't do that much damage. Witness testimony. What you got for me? What happened that evening? Papa met with someone the night he died. I didn't have eyes on the ground, as I'd already mounted my siege defense, but I did hear him arguing with someone in his study. From my window, I saw the one designated Dots getting ejected from the premises. After that, the man lingered around the perimeter for some time. He must have regrouped and killed my papa in the study later. I just know. We've had active bombs, swords, whips, people throwing scalding hot coffee at one another, bird attacks, spiritual possession, and the list keeps going. And that's only the dangerous shit. We've also asked for a testimony from much worse as well. So, drone, relatively normal, right? Or not relatively normal, I would say kind of normal. But either way. So, he was thrown out but later returned and committed the murder, did he? Yes, Your Honor. So the man my client saw really must have been the fleeing Mr. Rebel. Objection! Right, you backstabbing no good. I didn't kill no one. It's the enemy. Ready all missiles. And fire! Dog. Capitalist pig, I'll turn you into pork stroganoff. And that's just a taste of my ultimate anti-swine weapon. Wow, it fires missiles too. Dots is a better Larry IMO, yeah. We were saying it earlier, but I do feel like he's a little bit of a better Larry in some regards, right? Yes. Well, the witness is all yours, Mr. Justice. All right. Cross-examination. So, he met with somebody. He you couldn't you'd already locked up in your room, but you did hear him arguing with somebody. Then you saw dots getting thrown out, and then he stayed around for a while, and then you think he killed your dad. It sounds like it's press everything.
Hold it!
Your father met with someone. Could you be more specific? No, I was in the midst of a crucial defense siege operation. Right. You're referring to how you don't leave your room, correct? You never know where the enemy might be lurking outside the siege perimeter. What about, school? Oh, I don't go to boot camp. I'm a soldier. The sergeant doesn't associate with rookies who are still too green to fight. With a kid like this, I bet Dr. Buff won't be getting any rest in the afterlife either. It was very brave of you to come to the courthouse today. But what was that you said about a siege defense? Oh, that? Well... Alright. Have eyes on the ground. I mean, technically you have eyes in the air, though. Shouldn't you have had your drone out? Wait, didn't we get the drone as a piece of evidence? We did, okay. Yeah, quote with the camera and a microphone. So, wait, do we not press everything here? We're gonna do a big save. Was it needed?
Objection!
It was not needed. I was right. Fuck you, I was right. Sarge, are you hiding something from me? How dare you question your superior officer like that? You want to get in on this Stroganoff action with Pig Boy over there, soldier? Sorry, but I'm afraid lawyers are missile-proof. What? Would the defense care to explain? It's simple, Your Honor. Just as he's able to see what's happening in our court right now, Sarge was able to see what was happening in the study then. His cherished drone, of course. Now that you mention it, and to think the answer was right before our eyes this whole time. Sarge, you were perfectly capable of patrolling the study that night, so you must have seen something. No! It's leaking! I'm hit. What's this strange new weaponry you're using against me? Courtroom warriors don't use guns or missiles because evidence is our weapon of choice. And the evidence has exposed your bald-faced lie. My truth bomb, Sarge, has stripped your defenses bare. A truth bomb! Oh! Mayday! Mayday! I'm going... Shit on. Oh my, are you alright? Evidence. Never have I seen such fearsome ordnance. Tell it to us straight, Sarge. After all, you want us to help your father, don't you? Papa. Yes, you want to find out who killed him, don't you? So please, tell us what you saw that night. It's not what you think. I didn't see anything. I swear. You sure? Can Apollo tell when a drone is lying? You seem awfully stressed for someone who didn't see anything. Look at him just standing there. Sarge, you need to answer my question. Shut your pie hole, maggot. It'll be a scorching day in Siberia before a lowly private like you orders me around. What's with him in Siberia, of all places? But if a scorching day is what it'll take, then maybe it's time to turn up the heat. Hey, Athena, you think a therapy session might help? Well, it could help alleviate some of his anxiety. Oh, widget time! Plus, I'm picking up a lot of discord in Sarge's voice. That usually means the patient wants to say something, but can't for some reason. And in Sarge's case, I imagine whatever's plaguing him is pretty severe. In that case, I leave it to you and your mood matrix magic. You got it. Your Honor, I believe I can be of some help here. Time for a therapy session, is it, Miss Sykes? Yes. It will help the witness with his anxiety, maybe even more enough to testify. By all means, please bring the poor child out into this light of day. Oh, but I assume this will be all right with you, Mr. Wright. Why not? It's not like we all haven't been through this before. What are you butting in for, lady? This ain't the place on the... Ooh. I beg to differ, Sarge. This G.I. Jane's always ready for a fight in the courtroom. And wait until you see what I've got in my arsenal. Analytical psychology. With it, I'm going to blow a big old hole in the armor you've built around your heart. What? First evidence, now analytical psychology? Where are these WMDs coming from? Well, if it's a battle you want, bring it on. You may have started this war, but I'm going to end it, Corpse Woman Sykes. Or Core Woman. You got it, Sarge. Time to seek out the agony buried deep in your heart. Brace yourself. It seems that we're actively getting more widget lines in this game than we got in Dual Destinies, even though that was Athena's like intro game. Stayed in my room with my drone until that evening. Or stayed in my room with my drone that evening. I heard Dots and Papa arguing with each other. Dots got kicked out, but I saw him still hanging around outside. I was in my room, so I didn't know Papa was dead until the next day. So... What changes your shock? Because it goes down from being surprised from seeing him kicked out, and then you're less surprised to find your dad dead. So what happened? Why did it go down? Why did shock go down? That's strange. You reacted with shock when you discovered your father's body, and you were nearly as shocked as when you saw Mr. Rebel. But normally, you'd expect the death of one's father to be much more impactful. Enemy fire! Direct hit! That is strange. I wonder what it could mean. Well, we know he wasn't as affected by his father's death as he should have been. But I think I know why. Oh? Sarge, you weren't as shocked at seeing your father's body as seeing Mr. Rebel because you'd already seen the body. Sarge, maybe the truth is you left your room that night. And that's when you saw it. Your father's body. I saw no such thing. Really, you didn't see his body. Alright then, what did you see? Oh, nice 30% drop. Look, Apollo, we've lost some noise. So just as I suspected, he really did see something. Sarge, please, tell us what you saw. Ooh, what? Nigga, speak. The moment I saw it, ooh, I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand it to let you lose yet another loved one. Huh? Well, I'm missing something here. Is that why you weren't very shocked when you found out your father was dead? Because you had already sensed that he was a goner somehow? Maybe... Please, Sarge. What was it you saw on the night of your father's murder? 4 gauze? I saw... No... The drone... What's happening? I don't like where this is going. No more! No more, please! Well, I mean... Help. Widget! How did you let that happen? I've confiscated your little toy. The battlefield is no place for unauthorized equipment. Widget! Apollo, I can't continue the session without him. How did that happen? Calm yourself this instant, witness. I hereby order you submit to your therapy session. What in blazes? He stole your gavel? Look at me, I'm judge, jury, and executioner now. I hereby convene a military tribunal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your monthly reminder from the twitch.tv stream It's Chris to beat your kids. Well, This has gone way too far. Bailiff, arrest that drone this instant. Stop resisting. Ah! Fire! Parents dead? Yeah, but I mean, he wouldn't have got. He was already this way before his dad died. Dad kind of facilitated this behavior. Now there's a whole out fucking fight in the courtroom. Well, we got Widget back. Whew, finally got him back. Nice work. The witness is truly a handful. Hop, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Miss Sykes, what's the witness's current psychological state? Let's see. He's emotionally all over the map. So his out of control emotions are in control of... Huh. I mean, of course, after the nigga was out here just fucking shooting off missiles, I would assume his emotional state would be fucked. Does that mean we can calm him down if we can figure out the root cause? Yeah, so let's see what we can find. Sarge, can you hear me? Ooh, is that you, Core Woman Sykes? I'm here. Now, I want you to take a few deep breaths. Just try to relax. Try it with me. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out, in, out. And now, let your emotions take you where they will. Go on, just let it all out. It's the least relaxing breathing exercise I've ever seen. Alright. Great. Sad and shock. Dots were still hanging around after he got kicked out when I heard more fighting and got worried about Papa. Wait, what? Hanging around after he got kicked out when you heard more shouting and got worried about Papa. So I left my room, but suddenly I got dizzy and passed out. I remember a flame lighting up the room and Papa grinning with delight. That's when he must have been killed. If only I hadn't passed out. So, does it have to be the fire here? Well, I mean, just the fire itself right here, right? Okay, so is it the fire here, or is it the fire in his hand? Oh, well, no. Fire fucks with him because childhood trauma, right?
Got it.
That's it. Sarge, you were overcome with shock and fear when you saw those flames, weren't you? Was I? Yes, just 6 months ago. You and your mother were caught up in an arsonist's blaze, so it's no wonder you would be extremely scared of fire. Yes, that does make sense. And maybe, just maybe, your subconscious fear of fire was what caused you to withdraw from the world. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call real quick. Sorry about that. What do you mean, Corwin Sykes? In the outside world, you are bound to come across all sorts of fire. Candles, cigarettes, heck, even the grill at a diner. Even if it's not that often, the idea you might see them grew bigger and bigger until you couldn't shut it out. I actually have no problems with this kid, heavily traumatized kid now twice. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, traumatization does not lead to excusability of all actions for me. And a kid being this rowdy, like, does it even state age in the court record? Question mark, yeah. Because assumably he's a school child, right? So I would assume like 12, maybe 13. That's what I got as far as like a good guess would go. Like at that point, like reaffirming some actions is definitely a possibility as a parent, right? You can still direct behavior in a specific way, but it seems like the father was just as clueless as to what to do as his son was. So he couldn't get him help, he couldn't help him himself. It's like, alright, that's his coping mechanism, fuck it, that's what he's doing. He didn't realize how unhealthy it was, so essentially everybody in the situation is kind of fucked, right? Which is a realistic interpretation. Sometimes you cannot help somebody with their trauma because you don't know what to do. You don't know what you can do to help them. It's nice. It's just it doesn't make the character excusable for me. Like I don't have any problems with him, but damn, I really wish it was somebody else up on that stand. Where's Willpower's at? I think you might be onto something. Candles, cigarettes, just thinking about them sends a chill down my spine. Wow, the things I take for granted. Now I see. I was afraid of the fire. Strange, I didn't even realize it myself. About that fire, Sarge. You tell me what it was burning. What it was burning, rather. Just stay calm and maybe something will come to you. Okay, oh, I'm starting to remember. It was that relic. That relic Papa was studying? It caught fire? What? The orb was on fire. Mm-hmm. It's still kind of fuzzy. Well, I mean... Offer thy prayers as fur and as fire? That's what he was trying to do. Or maybe he figured out that that's like a riddle in and of itself. Maybe it's you set it on fire, and that does it. But yes, the orb was burning right in front of Mahapa. And there in the flames was Mama? Yes, now I remember. I saw Mama appear amid the dancing flames. Wait, what? Alright then. What's going on here? Also, if he had the fucking orb out, he couldn't have gone and put it away, right? So, this all happened before he was killed. So Dot's being thrown out was before the guy hid the orb and before he got killed, right? You might be confusing it with what really happened when his father died. So let me guess, more therapy? Yep, but this time, it seems there's an inconsistency in his statements. And I think we should be able to prove it with the evidence at hand. I hope this inconsistency is key to proving that the relic really is the Founder's Orb. Gods are still hanging around. Heard fighting, got worried about Papa. Left my room, got dizzy and passed out. I remember a flame lighting up. Relic was on fire. I saw Mama's face. What's the last one? Oh, info update. That's when Papa must have been killed. If only I hadn't passed out. Well, hate to prove it to you, child, but you're fucking wrong. Ding dong, you moron. Don't blame yourself, Sarge. After all, even if you hadn't passed out, the outcome would have been the same. What do you mean? I'm talking about the time of death. Your father wasn't killed right after you left your room. What? Explain yourself at once, Private Justice. You said you saw your father burning the orb, right? But that night, you went out to hide it in a cave. I almost fucking died. So what you saw, Sarge, was something that happened before your father left to hide the orb. Ah. So you see, you didn't pass out right before he was killed. Now, you passed out right before he left for the cave to hide the orb in the ruins within. So even if I hadn't passed out, that's right. The outcome would have been exactly the same. That's because your father, Dr. Buff, was killed right after he returned from the ruins. And therefore, Sarge, there's no need for you to blame yourself. Oh, I see. Yeah, your dad was dead regardless, punk bitch. Private Justice, can you really say I bear no blame in this? Why do you ask? Because the truth is, if I hadn't engaged in my siege defense, Papa would still be alive. Sarge, Papa wished nothing more than for me to lead a happy, healthy life. That's why he quit his job and moved us out, away from the big city. But even then, I didn't have the courage to set foot to the outside world. And in the end, well, now he's acknowledging the kid is becoming better. In the end, I failed to make Papa's wish come true. Coming around on the kid. He's becoming slightly better. Sarge? If you want to make your father's wish come true, if that's what you really want, then who's to say it's too late? Why don't you take the first step now? My first step? That's right. You can cast off all your regret. You can stop standing still and start moving forward. You have the power within you. I know from experience. I know what it's like to feel like you do. But only you can decide to take that first step. I will say the undertones in this game are like actually surprisingly good. Like, not to say that the Phoenix Wright story is some fucking shit brain, like you just turn it on and watch it go, nor to say it's like fucking immaculate storytelling at all times, but the undertones and subtext of this game, like, they actually work really well instead of being the main focal point. Like, they were the main focal point in Dual Destinies with everything Athena had gone through and overcoming her past trauma by facing it head on, but you get a lot more in this game, and it happens in case by case with characters you're probably never going to see again. So with a character like Sarge, who Athena and Apollo can both relate to, there's very good stuff here. Like, it's not like it's, oh, they've been pushing, you know, Athena and Apollo's childhood trauma really hard, and they've been kind of trying to egg you on into feeling that way, because even with the stuff about the stuff that I had gripes with in Case 2, where it was like, okay, you push the subtext of misdirection with magicians really hard. Like, that was the only time they were super heavy-handed with it and hyper on the nose, where I was like, okay, I get it, I'm not a moron. But now it's a little bit more subtle, and I appreciate that. Obviously, there's still more to have this dethroned Dual Destinies for you, but... Oh, wait, no. Obviously, there's still more, but has this dethroned Dual Destinies for you as the best in the series? Like, honestly, I think Dual Destinies still gets beaten out by Game 1 for me. Dual Destinies is really good, but Game 1 is just... Game 1 is ground zero. Like, game one, there is nothing really too crazy. There's nothing really too outstanding as far as, like, I look at it and I go, that's dumb. I think my top three easily are, how I'm feeling about this game right now. It's definitely, this game is a strong, heavy contender for it right now. But, I would say that game one is really good. And, game one, Spirit of Justice, and Dual Destinies. Actually, no. Spirit of Justice, game one, Dual Destinies. Then Trials and Tribulations, Apollo Justice, and then Justice for All. Justice for All is just kind of overall. If you don't change your tactics now, Sarge, victory you seek in that war you're waging will always lie beyond your grasp. I think I understand now. I've made up my mind. As of this moment, I will suspend my siege defense indefinitely. Justice for All only has the final case going for it. Yeah, which is a shame. Oh! Men dem can't walk. Gal dem can't walk? Huh? Sergeant Buff, reporting for duty. What? I thought you were a guy. You're definitely not the gruff drill sergeant I envisioned. Well, my mama was in the Russian army. I was just as shocked, but it certainly explained a few things when I found out, too. May I introduce you to Miss Army... Well, spot on with the age. Miss Army Buff, right? Ah, I hate this. No way. Careful, soldier. Don't forget I could blow you away at any moment's notice. She's just too cute. So, have you always been in a wheelchair, Sarge? Negative. Only since I was injured. In the fire. Your voice sounds awfully different from before. My drone features a voice modulation device. It's just one of my army's many technological marvels. Well, you fooled me. I thought some 20-something military fanatic was at the controls. If it's all the same to you troops, I'd like to continue my testimony. I've just remembered something, and it's as crisp and clear as a trumpet at roll call. What did you remember? It wasn't my mother who appeared in the burning orb. It was some lady Papa had shown me a picture of a long time ago. He said it was... the Holy Mother, the founder of Koreanism. She appeared right there in the burning orb. Huh? What did you just say? Well... you about to make me act up. Just have Apollo go over to fucking Phoenix's bench. And what, nigga? And what? And what? It's me. It's me. I'm right. I'm right. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. So here's my question. Shoot. The Holy Mother of Kernism was in the burning orb. What does that even mean? She was inside a room the whole time. How did she see it? With the drone. Crane Village is miles away from... No, their study is in Crane Village. She was no. So Phoenix said earlier that she was in the witness lobby. I don't know how far back I can go, but yeah, nah, I can't go that far enough back. But no, Phoenix said she was in the witness lobby and just waiting. She wouldn't leave the witness lobby, is what he said. I think that's verbatim. I have a bad feeling about this. Could it be? Could this explain what Sarge means by the Holy Mother appearing in the burning orb? Wait, what? It's the research notes. Because the Holy Mother shall return.
Take that!
Dr. Buff's research notes? What do they have to do with this? Look at this, the burning orb, the appearance of the founder. This part points to both. What?
Take that!
There's a legend about the orb involving a mysterious riddle, and this song in turn is said to contain the key to solving it. If the legend is true, then I believe the answer lies in this part of the song. Offer thy prayers as fervent as fire, only then shall the Holy Mother return. Well, anyone see where I'm going with this? Prayers as fervent as fire. Ah! You're supposed to set the orb on fire. The whole stanza seems to suggest that the founder will appear if the orb is set on fire. Wait, so the doctor, he... Yes, Athena. He had solved the ancient riddle of the founder's orb. Oh my! Papa was a great archaeologist, so I believed in him. And I want to believe he achieved his lifelong long-time dream of solving that riddle before he died. Well, we won't know for sure until we try it for ourselves. Yes, do it, Private Justice, please. I want to see what Papa was searching for with my own eyes.
Objection!
Phoenix? The, plaintiff must object to this.
Objection!
The plaintiff will stand down and be quiet.
Objection!
You don't have the right to set a precious relic like that on fire.
Objection!
Oh, but I do. All I needed was Sarge's permission. Since we still don't know if this treasure is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Ami Faye. Any ownership the rights the Doctor had now belong to his daughter. Therefore, you have absolutely no right to stop us. Yeah! What you got now, old man? Very well, Mr. Justice. I never thought I'd be saying this, but you may burn the evidence. Alright, here we go. So Apollo just has a lighter on him? For what purpose? You got a Zippo, too. Hold on. That looks like it was mocapped. Look, Apollo, the inside of the orb, it's melting. There's something in there. Oh. It's the Holy Mother's face. Run. Dirk, isn't she? Garb leaves no room for doubt. It's the Founder herself. Face and all. I don't understand. The greatest of taboos in Kuranism is the depiction of the Founder's face. And here it is. Hidden within this orb. Founder's Orb updated. So, Phoenix, how about you just shut up over there forever? Sorry, Mr. Wright, but as you can see, the issue is crystal clear. This figure is the Holy Mother, founder of Kuranism. And based on that, this must be none other than the Founder's Orb. Dog, no. If there was ever a time to bring Overtaken back... Athena's biggest case was determined by a lighter and she's legit not having any flashbacks. I mean, it's alright. I'm just dropping by Chris to say that Athena's the best girl in Maya stands can go blow a horse peen. Whoa! Yeah, not. What? Athena's best girl? How can you be wrong on that one too? Franziska is out there somewhere, just chilling. And based on that, this must be none other than the Founder's Orb.
Objection!
Be that as it may, Mr. Rebel may still have killed the Doctor. If so, it would render the orb transfer agreement null and void. Don't play dumb, Mr. Wright. The truth of the matter has already been proven. Dr. Buff wasn't killed right after Sarge saw Mr. Rebel. It happened after the doctor came back from hiding the orb. You have no proof that Mr. Rebel was still around at the time. Really looking for the sick fuck that's down for K? Wait, who's K again? Your claim that the Defiant Dragons were behind the crime doesn't hold water. And that means the orb transfer agreement is still perfectly valid. She's from the Miles Edgeworth game? Ooh. So we get to go talk to her very shortly then, in like a week or so. In about a week or so. But I didn't realize, I thought the Edgeworth games were going to, aside from like the people involved with the cases, I figured it would be all characters that we know. But new characters will be, I'm fine with that. New characters is going to be sick. She's like, so she's going to be like how Pearl is for Phoenix in like Game 2 and Game 3? That'd be pretty neat. Oh, but no, the first Edgeworth game isn't the game where Franziska's 13, right? It isn't like his beginning shit, or is that Game 2? I have no idea. Admit it, Mr. Wright. I just burn your whole case to the ground. Ooh. No! Take damage, old man. The future is now, Grandpa. I won? I actually won. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Respond? I didn't think so. Wait, did we just win? Did we actually beat the Turnabout Terror? You're amazing, Apollo! Don't just stand there, Wright. Do something! Well, I don't think there's any digging out of this hole. Mr. Letitia Wimperson, I think it's time for your concession speech. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the Founder's Orb. The facts don't lie, but you obviously do. How's that for a campaign slogan? Banter! Why, you contemptuous present. I think this is a good time to wrap up this trial. If both parties have no further objections, I will render my verdict. No objections here, Your Honor. No way. Move, nigga! You can't do this. The crystal is mine. I'll lose the election if I lose that crystal. Oh shit, Master Rank Colvey is out. Oh shit. I'm sorry, but there's really nothing I can do. You haven't forgotten about our little chat, have you? What's going on here?
Objection!
Your Honor, I object to the defense's last claim. Imagine if Albi actually had the stones to look at the orb and accidentally held a candle to it. Imagine if he had the stones. What? I don't believe they have truly proven that the relic is indeed the Founder's Orb.
Objection!
You just conceded, bitch. Mr. Wright, I don't even think you could bluff your way out of this one. Even though Clavier won the bingo, Edgeworth is still getting his, They both got bingo. It's just fucking Clavier has probably got his first. Mr. Wright, I don't even think you could bluff your way out of this one. A possible argument could you have to claim that this isn't the Founder's Orb. About that. Oh, of course. Did Maya get kidnapped again? Has to be. He can't possibly hit on something. The defense's assertion is incomplete, and this is why. The defense is basing their claim on that this relic is the Founder's Orb on a legend, and that legend claims that the Founder will return when the riddle is solved at last. Right, and that's what happened. The Founder was revealed for all to see. Mr. Justice, what about the rest of the legend? Albie was never close to the orb, though. It was already stolen way before the incident, wasn't it? I mean, he went to the orb a couple times. It's not like he was never close to it at all, but in the incident that happened in the case 1, like, you assume that no, he didn't get close to it then. He went to the case, which assumably would have had the orb in it. Yeah, no, like, the orb was in there. He went there multiple times. In case 1, he went to the orb, or he went to the case with the orb already out of it. But before that, he had already gone and saw the treasure case way before that. Multiple times. Because even fucking Patrol was yelling at him like, hey, you can't keep coming down here. You can't keep coming down here and looking at the fucking orb. Move. Leave. According to the legend, once the founder returned, she would bestow spiritual power onto the person who solved the riddle. You're kidding, right? Well, Mr. Justice, do you feel great spiritual power coursing through your veins? Now, here's the time where Apollo lies his ass off and says, hey, yeah, about that. Anybody want to lie to me? The gods have best bestowed upon me the spirit of lie detection. And I can tell how you're lying and why you're lying. No. But receiving spiritual powers and stuff, it's all just mystic mumbo jumbo, right? Ooh. Maybe so. But the one you're basing your claim on is... But you're the one basing your claim on said legend. But the judge in the Phoenix has already seen him do that, though? Yeah. It would fly for the judge. It would fly for the judge. Phoenix would try to shoot it down, but then the fucking Apollo would be like, hey, yo, shut up. Just move. And what we saw here really does not fully fulfill it, does it? No, but... Consequently, you cannot rightfully claim that this is the Founder's Orb. What? He's fallen asleep again. It's gotten into him. Why is Mr. Wright doing this? It would appear that Mr. Wright has lost a few of his marbles. That couldn't be further from the truth, Your Honor. In any case, I believe this is a good time for a recess. Both sides will have 20 minutes to prepare. What the fuck? I asked that all arguments be ready by then. Oh, and Mr. Wright, you do well to wash up and find your missing marbles by then, too. Phoenix, talk to me. What's going on? May 17th, defendant lobby number 3. Mr. Wright is sure acting funny. I mean, he's famous for going out on a limb, but that last assertion was just plain crazy. It's either a bluff or a Hail Mary. Either way, it doesn't make much sense. Maybe there's something we're missing here. Although he seemed perfectly normal when we spoke earlier. Apollo, I have a bad feeling about this. I'm gonna go check up on him. I'm gonna have to dip once this trial part is over, I think. I think once this trial part is over, I'm gonna end for the day. What's going on with you, Mr. Wright? Hey, Private Justice. Oh, Sarge. I forgot to mention something. On the night of Papa's murder, a strange thing happened. Huh? Why are you only telling me about it now? Well, I didn't say anything before because I thought Papa's death was an accident. Now that we know otherwise, I figured it might be important. There's still more to this case. Okay. When I left my room and lost consciousness, I passed out right here. That's right above the coffee bar. But when I came to, someone was pushing my wheelchair. What? I was so scared, I beat a hasty retreat as fast as my wheels could take me. Do you know who it was? No, it was pitch black. Plus, if I fled to my room so fast, I didn't even have a chance to turn on the lights. Maybe it was your father. No, he would have said something to me. Besides, I'd have known if it was him. So then, it could have been your father's real killer. My thoughts exactly. You didn't report this to the police? Get Phoenix to adopt Army? Army Trucy would be a true nightmare for Apollo? Dog. Also, the drone would be really good at magic shows, too. Hold on. Might not be a bad idea. It didn't even occur to me. It's okay. You're obviously still upset, so don't beat yourself up over it. Paulo, this could be really important information. I think the act of pushing Sarge's wheelchair could be part of a bigger scheme. It's hard to see why else the killer would have done such a thing. Guess I should take your statement down as evidence. Army statement added to the court record. When are we gonna get a fucking to be continued, though? Because we've been doing this for a little bit. Oh, welcome back, Athena. Uh-oh. What's with the long face? How'd it go with Mr. Wright? What should I... Athena? After this game, Athena works as the dummy for Trucy's magic show. As for why you're about to find out, oh boy. Oops, sorry, zoned out there for a second. The recess is almost over, so let's go. What was that all about? Well, May 17th, District Court, courtroom number 6. Alright, court is once again back in session. Now, Mr. Wright, about that last objection you raised. We, the plaintiffs, still believe that the defense has yet to sufficiently prove its case. They claim that, according to legend, the Founder's Orb would bestow spiritual power. Yet the relic in question has failed to do so. Therefore, it has failed its own test. I see. Are you sticking with that ridiculous argument? Furthermore, even if it is the Founder's Orb, it can't be awarded to the Defiant Dragons. After all, they were the ones who killed Dr. Buff.
Objection!
What are you talking about? That was already proven to be false. There are no grounds for asserting the Defiant Dragons murdered the Doctor. Oh, but I'm afraid there are, Mr. Justice. Your Honor, I would like to present new testimony to this court. Testimony that will show that Dat's a Rebel did in fact kill Dr. Buff. What? Very well, you may call your witness. I guess Mr. Wright found another new angle. What new testimony could there be this late into the game? What? Fellow citizens, it is I, politician, the once and future representative of the people. Jeez, not him again. My client divulged new information to me during the recess. He remembered something he saw, you see. Something crucial to this case. How very convenient. Dots' crime. It was around 11 at night, and I was out on a mobile meet and greet around the village. That's when I saw Dr. Buff being murdered from outside his study window. Mr. Rebel snuck up from behind and struck him on the head. The doctor was standing... Oh. Wait, what? So he was standing up at the shelf, and that's... Okay, so he was standing at the shelf, he smacked him with the suitcase, put the suitcase back by the coffee bar, and... What? That's cap. So weapon of choice, a suitcase. A big, strong man like him could easily swing the heavy suitcase into someone's head. You saw the murder as it happened, and you're just telling us now because... I saved the best for last. It's a tactic known to all the political greats. The murder weapon was a complete mystery, but my client's eyewitness account has finally brought it to the light. According to the autopsy report, Dr. Buff was struck in the head by the corner of some object. I suppose that could very well be the corner of a suitcase.
Objection!
But eyewitness testimony isn't the same as hard evidence. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that if I were you. What's that supposed to mean? We have physical evidence, too. A luminol test revealed. Ah, great. The doctor's blood on Mr. Rebel's suitcase. Really? And how does that prove Mr. Rebel used it as a weapon?
Objection!
Come on, Apollo. You should know the answer to that, Mr. Justice. Since you know as well as I that the suitcase is covered in his fingerprints. I forgot we dusted it right in front of Emma. Something about Phoenix on the prosecution side doesn't sit right with me. It's like seeing MJ in baseball. I mean, to be fair, it's not prosecution. He's not prosecuting right now. We're just two attorneys duking it out. The turnabout terror strikes again. This is quite convincing testimony and evidence. Nevertheless, you may proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. Justice. He's on that side, though. I mean, fair enough. This probably could have been held in a civil courtroom, like, because obviously this is very much a setup for, you know, a criminal court, but they could have, I would suppose that would mean, like, a different fucking modeling set. Dots' crime. Alright. 11 on a meet and greet. That's when I saw Dr. Buff being murdered from outside his study window. This is a civil court, but that's Japanifornia. Mr. Rebel snuck up on him and struck him in the head. I don't know how he could fucking sneak up on him. Not with that fucking suitcase, anyways. Talk to me about it. He snuck up from behind. So you're saying the doctor never even realized Mr. Rebel was there? That's right. He was utterly absorbed in a book. Well, his reading glasses were off. Hold on. So I see. What did you see Mr. Rebel do next? He climbed up the bookshelf ladder and dumped a bunch of books down on the body. I believe he was trying to make it look like an accident. But that idiot didn't realize I could see everything from outside the window. Those statements doesn't feel right. Your Honor, I believe the witness made an important statement just now about how the doctor was reading a book. Dots is an idiot. I should have clicked that one. Fuck. The doctor was reading a book at the time of the murder. That's vital testimony. Very well. The witness will please add that statement to his testimony. Go back? How the fuck I do that?
Hold it!
Alright, let's see. Dots is an idiot. Witness said Mr. Rebel is an idiot. That's a key piece of information. Alright, sorry about that. Don't you jump on the bandwagon, AJ. I'm no idiot, you hear? Fail to see how that's a key piece of information. Yeah, I guess it's not, is it? That was pretty good. And it seems there is no need to add it to the witness testimony. Let's get on with it, shall we? Alright, so this should bring us to the... Did it revoke the statement we made? The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelf, absorbed in a book. Okay, so yeah, no. I thought you were going to say that he's standing in front of the bookshelf looking for a book, but if he's reading a book, got something for you. Wait, do we... Yeah, we present his glasses, right? Yeah, okay, I just didn't remember if we got his glasses or not.
Objection!
The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelf, absorbed in a book, you say? I'm sorry, but it seems your testimony is completely unreliable. That's quite a bold statement. Well, let's hear you back it up. I challenge you to prove that I am anything but 100% reliable. It would be my pleasure. Lately, it seems the doctor's eyes had gotten so bad he needed reading glasses. However, his reading glasses were over on his desk. So you see, there's no way he could have been reading in front of the bookshelves. Moron. I'm sorry, Mr. Attition Wimperson, but I'm gonna have to ask you to explain this discrepancy to the voting public. You what? I'll explain it, you lowly cur. I simply made a mistake, you see? The doctor was actually sitting at his desk when Mr. Rebel hit him over the head. Then the doctor would have been facing him. Surely he would have seen him and tried to run? Dr. Buff was nodding off. I could tell because his eyes were closed and he wasn't moving. Sounds like more what you do. Oh, sounds like more like what you do. And how do you explain the fact that he was struck in the back of the head? Isn't that something that should be impossible from the front of the desk? Oh, about that. He bowed his head when he nodded off. That's when he was clobbered. Judge, please no. So that's what you saw. Well, Mr. Justice, that sounds like a perfectly reasonable explanation to me. Do you have a problem with the proposal that the doctor was struck while nodding off? I mean, yeah, big-ass problem. There's a problem. A very big problem. The witness's statement doesn't hold up under the slightest bit of scrutiny. Is that so? Then please show this court what evidence you think you have to justify this. Gladly, Your Honor. This shows that the problem with the witness's claim that he saw the doctor nodding off. The diagram, because you can't see past the desk with the bookshelf in the way. You can't see him sleeping if he was sleeping at his desk.
Take that!
Wait, what's up, Songstress? What happened? A diagram of the study. Mr. Titian Wimperson allegedly viewed the murder from here. And the doctor was allegedly nodding off here. Now the judge was capping? I was like, oh, what'd I say? But from his vantage point, the bookcase would have blocked the witness's line of sight. Why, yes, I believe you're right. But,
Objection!
Phoenix? The fact remains, my client knew that the suitcase was the murder weapon. So he definitely has first-hand knowledge of the crime scene. I mean, if he has first-hand knowledge of the murder weapon but couldn't actually see the murder being committed, Phoenix, doesn't that mean that he's a suspect in the murder? I'm afraid I have to agree with you there, Mr. Wright. But then we have to ask ourselves, from what vantage point did he see the murder? What are you insinuating, Mr. Justice? From what vantage point could Mr. Titian Wimperson have seen the dozing doctor? Once we determine that, I believe we'll finally see the truth behind this incident. The witness saw the murder from right here? I mean, was he up on the fucking balcony? Because he could have seen it from, like, right here.
Take that!
I just went away. You've got to be kidding. It is indeed. But everything only makes sense if the witness is there in the study. Inside the study? But that's the scene of the crime. I know. Mr. Titian Wimperson, the man who claims to be a witness to the murder, was most certainly in that very room. Apollo, are you suggesting? Mr. Titian Wimperson, weren't you the one who actually swung that suitcase?
Objection!
What you're proposing is ludicrous. My client is a small, thin man, whereas Mr. Rebel has the musculature to pull it off. He has a point. He gave up trying to lift that thing after one go. That's right. He's the only one who could have lifted such a heavy, hard blue tracksuit, niggas. How'd you know it was heavy? Damn it. Why does everybody incriminate themselves? Just shut up for a little bit. Now do you understand? The rebel Dot's a rebel is the doctor's killer. As long as the suitcase is the murder weapon, the suspicion falls entirely on Dots. Apollo just called it heavy. Wait, did he? Did I miss that? Where? Where did he call it? Oh, Phoenix called it heavy? Okay, because I was about to say, if... Well, no, it's... He says he's a small, thin man, where a rebel has the musculature to pull it off. He doesn't say anything about it being heavy. He's just saying that fucking... a rebel could have done it because he has the fucking musculature for it. The implication is there, but... there's no reason for for Paul to say, hey, yeah, of course it's heavy. He could have literally said, oh, well, it's impossible for you to lift a suitcase up above your head like that. You're small and thin, you have people carry you around. You have to poke a hole in Mr. Wright's argument somehow, Apollo. Oh, I will. And with his own technique, no less. But Mr. Artisan Whipperson couldn't swing the suitcase around. We'll just have to consider another way he could have used it as a murder weapon. I'm going to turn this case on its head, Mr. Wright, just like you taught me. You talk big, Mr. Justice, but do you have what it takes? Well, this should be interesting. Mr. Artisan Whipperson's testimony has been filled with one inaccuracy after another. First, he stated that Dr. Buff was in front of the bookshelves. Now he claims that the doctor was sitting at the desk. So where was the victim really when he was killed? Also, where was his killer? And how was the murder weapon really used? So the important thing here is the position of the victim and the killer relative to each other? Oh. When your lawyer says, hey, you're not strong enough for this, wink, wink, you play along when you're about to be indicted for murder? Yeah, of course, I guess. Also, since your Apollo voice is pretty damn close to the voice Todd gave for Quark, it's time for a clothes swap edit? No. Apollo seesaw niggas, no. Yes, Your Honor. If they were positioned in such a way, it would be possible to use the suitcase as a weapon without lifting a finger. You can't mean... I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. It's quite distinctive, as you can see. Now, if Dr. Buff were sitting in a certain spot, and his killer was at a certain other spot, the suitcase would become a weapon anyone could use. Well, here we go. Very well, Mr. Justice. Where was Dr. Buff's killer at the time of the crime? What? Could he have just stayed up here and dropped the fucking suitcase down on him? Is this... We're gonna do a big save. Big save. No one can stop me. Not you, not you, not you. You especially, who's there lurking in the chat, who hasn't said anything this entire stream. You can't stop me. Ah, badges went away. Bear? Oh, that's... They should wrap things up nice and pretty for you, Mr. Wright. I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. But this time, instead of thinking it in 2 dimensions, let's think of it in 3. Only then can we clearly see the killer's method at work. Do you believe in gravity, Mr. Wright? The killer didn't have to swing the suitcase. If he used gravity to his advantage, that is. That's right. It was the plaintiff, one Paul Letitia Whipperson, who used the suitcase. He pushed it from the 2nd floor. Yank! Dog. Imagine sitting, trying to make yourself a nice cup of coffee. All of a sudden, some dickhead pushes a heavy-ass suitcase onto your head and kills you. What the fuck? And that's why the book had a coffee stain on it, right? Oh my god. You get a little bit sleepy. Yeah, you know what? Instead of doing more research, I think I'm just gonna make myself a cup of coffee. Dead. The psychology book had been at the coffee table, or at the coffee bar, no doubt. The doctor must have set it down there after he finished reading it, or the like. But his blood got on it, which is why the killer thought to hide it in that mountain of books.
Objection!
That's quite an entertaining theory you have, Mr. Justice. But there's no evidence that the murder took place at the coffee bar. I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Wright. I'd say that evidence of the murder occurring at the coffee bar exists. The evidence does exist, and I'm going to show you. You are? This right here is proof that the murder took place at the coffee bar. Well, I mean, the big old coffee stain.
Take that!
This brown stain was determined to be coffee. What's more, it was still a bit damp when we saw it yesterday morning. Ah, one look at this book speaks volumes, I'm afraid, Mr. Wright. It tells us the doctor was having a cup of coffee at the coffee bar. That's when the suitcase came hurtling down, striking him on the head, causing both his blood and his coffee to spatter on it. Well, Mr. Attition Wimperson? What motive could I possibly have to kill Dr. Buff? And there it is, that final excuse cornered killers are so fond of. Well, the doctor never returned your crystal to you, did he? Instead, he hid it in the cave ruins. Telling him that the Defiant Dragons were a dangerous bunch was a huge blunder. All that did was make him hide the orb. Your lie came back to bite you in the end. Even worse, the doctor saw the news report, so he knew the relic was the Founder's orb. Being the conscientious researcher he was, he knew he had to return it to its rightful place. And that meant keeping it out of your hands. We're so angry that he refused to return the relic to you. That you killed him with your own hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Attition Wimperson? Just break it already. Hi, that is Phoenix. I'm sorry, buddy. Apollo, please don't accuse my client of murder. Huh? What do you mean, don't accuse him? Why don't you even say that, Mr. Wright? They got my girls, Charles. They got my girls. What I meant was, he's a promising politician with a bright future ahead of him. It's in our nation's best interest to avoid burdening him with the taint of scandal. Say what? Right, better do something to change the current courtroom climate, or I'll be charged with murder. Dog, imagine you just sit down, Alonzo, you sit down in the gallery. All right, I just came to see some people talk about I really like some I like some cases where people just argue about whose stuff is whose. I didn't expect to get a murder charge out of this one. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool fucking civil case. What the fuck happened? And you know what happens to her if that happens? People are showing up for a civil case as OD. It's the fact that it's Phoenix Wright presiding over a civil case, right? They saw Apollo and Phoenix facing off. They were like, "Oh, hold on. This is Holyfield fucking Tyson. I need to see this one. I gotta see this one." Buster Douglas Tyson, actually. What's he talking about? Well, I can ponder that later for now. Mr. Wright, you can't possibly believe that Mr. Rebel is a killer. Are you really going to send an innocent man to prison? I thought you were better than that. Well, Mr. Wright, answer me. It's the same pose, too. Now, I need Miles to come in and say, yo, chill, just calm down real quick. Mr. Wright, what in the world is going on here? If you won't say anything, then... Mr. Attition Wimperson, the defense hereby... Apollo, wait. Not you too, Athena. It's just... I wasn't sure whether I should say anything, but... During that last recess, when I went to check on Mr. Wright, I overheard something I shouldn't have. I trust my eyes unharmed. I can't really say, but just remember, if I'm arrested or fail to obtain the treasure, there will be consequences. Consequences of the worst kind, if you catch my drift. Yep. Relax. All you have to do is ensure I get my hands on that relic. I must deliver it to my benefactor at all costs. Is his benefactor fucking Inga then? Because there's no way he'd be able to snatch Maya up here in the States if Maya is still in fucking Karain. What do they want that relic for anyway? It's something to do with an old legend. My patron seeks the great power said to be granted to whoever solves its secret. Maya, as in Maya Fey. Yeah, the boss's legendary former assistant. Miss Fey's being held hostage. So it seems. Why didn't you tell me this as soon as you heard it? Sorry, it's just Mr. Wright spotted me before I could slip away, and made me promise not to tell you. He said it would make things more difficult if you found out. As if things weren't already hard enough. So that's why Mr. Wright was acting so strange. I had no idea. This must have been excruciating for him. Think, Justice. There's got to be something you can do. Mr. Justice, about that last statement of yours. I believe you were in the middle of accusing the plaintiff of murdering Dr. Buff. Would you care to continue? It's okay, Phoenix. We can just get Pearl and have her channel Maya. I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm really, really sorry. What's gotten into you two? If I accuse that slime bag, I put Miss Fey's life in jeopardy. It seems you finally caught on. I'm far too important to be accused of murder. After all, our nation's future rests squarely on my shoulders. A corrupt politician? A regime that doesn't understand how the law can be abused? Hold on. And it's not heavy-handed with it? This game's great. Does it say his name on both sides? Once I present the crystal to my patron, my victory is assured. Then one day, I'll become president, and then king. I'll have every politician at my command. Now retract your accusation. I can't kowtow to him, but... the defense would... I would like to retract the previous accusation. What? Dirk? Talk to these niggas. Apollo. Dirk? I don't know what's going on here, but a lawyer should never look the way you do right now, with defeat and resignation written all over your face. Say it.
A dragon never yields.
Yeah! Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard, never lets go till its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaw firmly onto its prey till the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get the truth. Dirk, a dragon never yields. He's right. It's all over if I give up now. If Mr. Wright's hands are tied, it's up to me to do what must be done. He saved my neck so many times. Now, it's my turn to save his. Dirk, thanks for that wake-up call. And that's the face of a lawyer you've got there, son. There's a will, there's a way. And I'm going to find the way to save Miss Fey, and see that justice is served. Whoa, thinking time! Alright, that scumbag is holding Miss Fey hostage to ensure he gets the orb before his patron. And it seems said patron believes the orb's legends. Thing is, the founder did appear when the orb was exposed to fire, just as the legend said. If the legend is true, then we've already solved the riddle, right? No, not yet, because we haven't solved the last part. Legend says that the founder will bestow great spiritual power when she returns. Yeah, no, you can't count second chair wins. You have to count if they took the lead of the case or not. So, for example, the 4-1, or excuse me, 5-1. Technically, that's also Apollo's win because he started it out, but he had to be subbed out for Phoenix because of medical condition. So technically, that's Apollo's win because all the stuff gathered by Apollo was there. But if that's true, we haven't solved the whole riddle yet. How can that be? Oh, we're missing something. Wait, maybe the part about the founder returning should be taken literally. How would it be possible for a dead person to return to the land of the world of the living? I mean, channeling is probably... I mean, cloning would be sick. Hold on. Imagine 2 Apollos. Oh, I know. There is a way for the dead to return. Spirit channeling. Athena has 5-3 and 6-4 from lead. Yeah, that's correct. Of course, you have to know what the founder looks like first. But the orb has revealed her face to us, so what if it's a sign that we should channel her? We don't know her face. Given the facts, in order to solve the riddle and receive the founder's power, I need a spirit medium. A medium is needed. Hey, guess what y'all can't do? Did you know Dirksvia is the voice of Zephiel? It sounds right. The one from Heroes, right? Damn, that's sick. I fuck with Dirk even more now. That means Attition Wilperson's patron will need one too. And once that slimy politician realizes that, he won't be able to lay a finger on Miss Faye. We got you, pussy. You're gonna hurt her, right? Everything's going to be okay, Mr. Wright. Because Mr. Politician Whipperson can't afford to harm a hair on Miss Faye's head. Huh? Nemesis and Rudolph? I didn't know, is Nemesis Hero's voice, like, unique? Or are you talking about Nemesis from the, from Three Houses? Because, honestly, like, listening to it, like, I can hear it, like, I know his last name is Henry, Taylor Henry, that's the one, but, like, I can hear the Zephiel, but you know who I didn't listen to a whole lot of? Nemesis. Killed that nigga, went next. Mr. Attition Wimperson. It seems you've chosen the wrong person to take hostage. What do you mean? Your patron seeks to solve the orb's riddle, and thereby receive great spiritual power. However, only Maya Fey can truly give them what they really want. She can. What do you mean, only Maya Fey? Think about what the return of the founder really means. We should have considered it more literally. After all, the orb was made in the kingdom of Karain, the birthplace of spirit mediums. I think I see now. You need to know what the deceased looks like in order to channel them. But in Kuranism, depicting the face of the founder is taboo. However, her true face was hidden in the orb. So maybe the orb is telling us to try channeling the founder. Exactly. With a spirit medium, the founder can quite literally return. And if the legend is true, the founder just might bestow spiritual power on someone when she does. It's like when Pearls imbued my Magatama with spiritual power. If a human could imbue with such power in a similar manner... It is said the founder possesses immense spiritual power. Such a great feat would not necessarily be beyond her. Wait a second. Then the legend is true. Do you understand now, Mr. Attition Wimperson? You are holding hostage the final key to unlocking the orb's secret. And if anything were to happen to her, the riddle would remain unsolved forever. You know, while I'm sad they didn't use Apollo's pursuit theme, the overuse of his objection theme is fine. I'm fine with that. There's always Pearl Faye. I could simply ask her to help. She hasn't finished her training. If she wants money, I have plenty to offer. She's not the kind of person to be tempted by material gain. And she certainly wouldn't help you if you had anything to do with her cousin, or anything were to happen to her cousin. Or maybe you'd like to go ask the Queen of Karain to channel the Founder for you. He could, but he'd probably get executed for requesting such a thing. It's over. Now confess. You killed Dr. Buff, didn't you? It wasn't supposed to end this way. Mr. Addition Whipperson, are you admitting to committing the crime? You're my lawyer, right? Do something. It's true that I'm your lawyer, and as such, it's my job to defend you. However, defending my client is the only duty a lawyer has. There's something else that's equally as important, and that is finding the truth. What? You thought it was easy, huh? Mr. Addition Whipperson, you've sought to twist the truth in the dirtiest of ways. I did not click that button. I was complicit in your hostage taking, but in a way, I was being held hostage too. Even so, there's still hope for me to make things right. And I owe it to all, and I owe it all to you, Apollo. Mr. Wright. I can't allow a murderer to walk away scot-free. Therefore, Mr. Addition Whipperson, I must resign as your attorney. No! He's credited as Taylor Henry for his roles, but apparently his government is Jameson Price. I believe that's correct. Wait, no, I thought Jameson Price was somebody else. Does this mean I'm under arrest? No! Technically, Phoenix didn't lose. Yeah, Phoenix just bowed out. Yeah. Can't stop me, I'm leaving. Can't arrest me if I leave. Well, I've nothing to confess. Are you... There's no fucking way. You're crazy, right? You've got to be crazy, stupid, or deaf. I said I've nothing to confess. I don't and I won't, especially not to a plebeian like you. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Nah, same dude? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, fuck it. Besides, there's no truth to these allegations. I mean, look at the suitcase. You won't find a single print of mine on it. All that means is you wiped them off, taking care to leave only Mr. Rebels. As many a great politician has said before me, no comment. In that case, try switching things up, Apollo. Look at the situation from a different angle. Is there really nothing that points to the suitcase being dropped from up above? Well, according to Army's statement, she was being moved away from the railing where she was sitting. Evidence that points to the suitcase being dropped from the second floor. The killer pushed the suitcase from the second floor hallway above the coffee bar. That would place him right around here. Maybe. Just maybe. Thought of something, Apollo? I believe this piece of evidence to be connected to the dropping of the suitcase. Yup. That appears to be a statement. But how is that related to this case? On the night of the murder, Your Honor, Miss Army Buff physically left her room. That's when she saw Doctor burning the orb and subsequently passed out. Right above the coffee bar. Oh, S for Sarge. I was like, how the fuck did you get an S out of Army or Buff? The killer wouldn't have been able to drop the suitcase down onto the doctor. Good point. However, according to Sarge, she woke up just as someone was trying to move her in her wheelchair. Also, by the way, if Phoenix actually dropped out, he wouldn't actually still be here. They need a new attorney for, Addition. What he could do, though, is he could still rejoin. Because essentially we're moving to indict on criminal cases. This would have to take place at another date in court. They would have to get a whole new attorney. They'd have to get a whole new prosecutor for him. But Phoenix could essentially rejoin the case as the as an assistant to Apollo if they want to ask Apollo to continue the charge pressing, right? If they want to continue the indictment and they say, Apollo, do you want to continue the indictment charges as the attorney? He can, and then completely throw his client under the bus. But then at that point, Titian would be like, okay, fucking, I'm out. I reject my my right to an attorney. Yeah, of course they'd have to defend him because they're not prosecutors, but again, Phoenix had to defend Matt on guard and then just be like, yeah, no, fuck it. Yeah, he did it, buddy. You got yourself off. You wanted that not guilty verdict. That's all you. But you could have also picked guilty, and I looked up the decision that you do if you do pick guilty, and it's pretty much the same. It's like, yeah, you're guilty, brother. Edgeworth throws Phoenix's prosecutor's badge. Yeah, get in there. She must have been in the killer's way and had to be moved. Isn't that right, Mr. Titian Wimperson? And if the killer had pushed the wheelchair with his bare hands, we may yet find the conclusive evidence we need. Exactly. Fortunately for us, that evidence slipped right through the killer's fingers. If only he'd been able to hold on to it for just a little tighter. But now he is neither able to discard nor alter it. It's on the back of her wheelchair. Honestly, that piece of evidence wasn't supposed to be here in this courtroom today. And yet, it looks like sometimes things do get better. But this wasn't supposed to happen. In the DLC, Emma gets a massive glow up. She becomes super hot. Well, it's going to be a little bit before we get there to see her glow up. Glow change? With the case being called fucking Turnabout Time Traveler, it's a little bit weird. No? Well, too bad, because the evidence that sped away from you that night has come back to haunt you, right here at this very trial. Your Honor, the defense's final piece of evidence is on this person.
Take that!
That's... On the night of the murder, Sarge passed out, only to come to find that somebody was pushing her wheelchair. That's when she fled back to her room. She didn't physically see a single soul after that. Not until Athena drew her out through that therapy session, that is. Oh, that took a long time to cut back to this. The killer was able to wipe the prints off the suitcase. The same can't be said for the prints that got away. My fellow Coranians. Well, Mr. Paul the Titian Wimperson, try explain your way out of this one. The podium is all yours. Breaking Apollo Justice takes top spot in our new power rankings this Monday. Here we go. I am not a crook. There we go. We gotta have some form of reference in there. Huh? Winner for a guilty verdict? No, please. Wait, don't go. No, please. Whoa! I think that's my favorite breakdown. Mr. Titian Wimperson, are you alright? Bailiff, get him to the first aid station on the double. The magician breakdown was top tier as well, yeah. Well, this was yet another unexpected turn of events. In light of everything that's been revealed, it seems the relic is indeed the Founder's orb. It seems Mr. Politician Whipperson can be considered a suspect in Dr. Buff's murder. Apollo, I want to thank you for everything. Thanks to you, I didn't have to keep bending the truth. I don't know what I would have done without you. Don't mention it. You were amazing today, Apollo. Well, I couldn't have done it without Dirk. A dragon never yields, remember that.
A dragon never yields.
Thinking about it, that statement would make him get along with Zephiel just great. Zephiel and this guy would definitely fucking chop it up. Dragon never yields. Every lawyer should take that to heart. Seeing both sides have no further objections. Would Dirk Sudmati please take the stand? This court awards the orb to the Defiant Dragons per the stated transfer agreement. Imagine being a normie like Apollo and outclassing super genius, honest Athena and Mr. Years of Experience Phoenix Wright. Yeah. Should the Kingdom of Karain claim ownership, the matter may have to be deliberated in a court all over again. I just hope, or shall I say pray, that I'm not the judge presiding over that one. Indeed. A trial like that might spark an international incident. Still, there are bigger and more momentous things astir in the air. A revolution. Dirk's really serious about this. This court is adjourned. Well, it's not even new badge Phoenix streak. Phoenix bowed out. Phoenix literally said, hey, yo, I can't be your lawyer no more. Apollo, get this nigga. Nice work, son. We've finally broken through the last obstacle on the road to revolution. Revolution? Which doesn't seem real. Yes, well, to think you actually defeated the fighting Phoenix. All I can say is that's my boy. Well, Mr. Wright did have his hands tied. Who knows if I had won, I'd be able to keep fighting me head on. I see more like you saved Mr. Wright. Saved him. Yeah, remember what he said? He didn't have to bend the truth anymore, and it was all thanks to you. I don't know about that. Still, I guess it is kind of nice to be appreciated. Mr. Dirk? Now that the Holy Mother's face has been revealed, are you going to have a spirit medium try to channel her? I, for one, would love to see the return of the legendary founder. Yeah, just think about it. Being able to speak to someone right out of the history books. For a corny-ass series, Dirk is legitimately cool. Everything out of his mouth is corny, but the VA and aesthetic just sells it. Yeah, like, Dirk, I feel, is the redemption of Simon Blackquill. Simon Blackquill is what... He feels like he's prototype Dirk, right? They wanted to make a cool guy, but they put all their chips on the edgy side, and maybe put like 10 on like cool. Simon Blackquill is legit just Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, it's just put all of your chips into edgy, and then pray it works. Whereas Dirk is more personable. He's got an actual fucking personality. Like, it's not just, oh, Dirk is edgy. He says some, like, corny shit sometimes, but he's old man. That's old man right there. Like, and we've seen so little of Dirk, too. We've seen Dirk for the only entirety of this case. We saw him at the end of Case 4. Phoenix saw him in passing, and that nigga ran off. Every other thing that we've gotten about Dirk is background information. And Dirk is great. What? Why?
Face isn't enough. You also need the true name of the one you're attempting to channel.
Alright, but I'll mention something like that.
The founder's true name is only known to the priestess who's been crowned queen. In short, the only living person who knows it is the current queen of Karain, Garan.
So without her help, we won't be seeing the founder anytime soon. It's no fun. Founder's orb updated. So, Dirk, what will you do now?
First, I'll start by tracing the route which the orb came into Dr. Buff's hands.
Since we know it was a politician that asked the doctor to study it, isn't he the one who stole it?
No, a political nobody like him couldn't get anywhere near the orb, let alone steal it. He must have had inside help. My money is on someone connected to the royal family.
Alright, you said something to that effect back in the cave.
Whoever it may be, we need to expose their dirty scheme to the light of day.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Wright has plenty of information, courtesy of his dirty client. He might be able to shed some light on this. Private Justice. That was fine work you did at the trial. You did your sergeant proud. Back at you, Sarge. It took real courage to leave your room like that. It's all thanks to you and Coralman Sykes. With my siege defense over, I can finally sally forth. But the battle's only just begun. One for me and me alone to fight. To lose your mother, and then your father? What a terrible thing to endure. Yeah, if only somebody could have lost their mother. And then their father. Somebody in this fucking room. Somebody that you have known for a couple years now. I wonder who that could have been. Yeah, being wheelchair bound doesn't help. I mean, that's the only valid point. Private Justice. I've been thinking. It's about time I stood on my own 2 feet. After all, I no longer have Papa to coddle me. I'm afraid I don't follow. Take a good look, soldier. This is one small step for man, and one giant leap for me. Technically, Apollo didn't have a father. Jove Justice? That man died? Nah, Jove died. We got told by fucking Dirk that he died when Apollo was 1. It's not even a deadbeat father. It's just dad died. Oh, you found out? Yeah. Now, had that been like a statement that you made in like chapter 4, chapter 3, I would have been like, yeah, no, you're right. His father is technically a deadbeat. Talking about the magician dad? Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, like, he had no way of Zach Gramarye had no way of knowing that, no, because Zach Gramarye wasn't even his dad. Zach Gramarye was Trucy's dad. Trucy's a deadbeat. Trucy's got a deadbeat dad. Technically. Hold my drone for me, will you, Private Justice? Yes, sir. What is she up to? Oh, is she gonna try to walk? Oh. Whoa. Apollo can create miracles. Chris, isn't that technically Athena's miracle because she broke her out of her habit of wanting to stay in the room? Shut up, okay? It's Apollo. It's Apollo. She's standing.
What's this? Sarge, you mean your legs there?
The doctor told me I was ready to walk again months ago. But if I admitted I could walk, I knew I'd have to leave the house. So I faked it. Makes sense, but I kept pretending I couldn't walk. But I know Papa is watching over me now, and I'd hate to disappoint him. So from this day forth, I'm going to march forward on my own 2 feet. What a brave kid, trying to move forward like this. But it must be so hard this soon after her father's death.
Don't you ever stop. You just keep walking, comrade. Stay brave, because there will be days when you'll want to stop. I have faith you'll find a way to muster the strength to push through them.
Now, I'm not sure how well y'all can see it due to the opacity on it, but let me screenshot and see if y'all can see it. Hold on. Let's see. No, like I'm dead ass. I can see something. Let me see. It's kind of weird. But let's see. Can you guys... No, I can just post the link, I guess. See what? This thing that's just behind Dirk. I don't know what it is, but it looks kind of weird. Y'all see that? It's kind of toned down, but I can see that. It's weird. I had to up it. I had to up the opacity. Yeah, no, Dirk's gonna die by the end of this fucking game. Dirk must be your favorite NPC from this game. He's got an eye patch like Dimitri. Amazing. Yeah, you can do it. He's gonna die for what he believes in. A dragon never yields. Hey, Daddy's back. You look pissed. Mr. Wright, what's that look on his face for? Oh, Apollo. Is everything alright with Miss Faye? She's safe, for now. Well then, we better go save her, quick. Oh, everybody to Karain? Let's go! Where is she anyway? I'm afraid I have some bad news. Huh? Maya's not here in the States. She's still in Karain. And she's still being held hostage by the mastermind behind this whole thing. The mastermind. That's right. Politician Whipperson was nothing more than a pawn. Maya's troop ductor is in the kingdom of Karain. What? I don't understand, Mr. Wright. What in the world's going on over there? A normal field trip? With the frizz? But as shocking as that news was, it was only the beginning. The beginning of something big. Big enough to shake Karain to its very core. Revolution. I was being swept up in a mighty wave that nothing could stop. Of course, at the time, I had no idea what the days ahead had in store for us. To be continued. Now, that was about the length of just a normal case. Case 5 is thick. But with that being said, that's all I wanted to do for today. I just wanted to get to a good stopping point with enough time under the belt to say that we did a really good stream today. Do we get an anime part for this? We were saving, so I assume we don't, because they only play at the beginning of parts. But assumably not. But for that, we're going to stop right here for today. We're going to try to pick this up tomorrow with part 2, question mark, of Turnabout Revolution. I honestly have no idea how long it's going to be. It says investigation day 2. Check if there's more anime. We'll just pick it up when we start up the next time tomorrow. I mean, I'll check, but do we get it anime? We don't get anime. Look at you. Look at you and look at you. May 17th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Look at you. Look at you and look at you. Are we still playing as Apollo? That's the important question. Yes, we are. But with that, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming out. Thank you. Was it Nostalgia that resubbed at the beginning of the stream? I believe it was. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. But until then, peace.